The comedy of the rich. How money makes the world go round. The general population, the poorer, are made to pay taxes and obey the laws. Welcome to the grand theater of modern society, where the rich get richer and the poor, well, the poor get to enjoy a front-row seat to the show of their own exploitation. Grab some popcorn, because this satirical ride through the world of wealth and power is as amusing as it is depressing. Act 1. You pay, you pump. In the land of the free, where money talks louder than any patriotic anthem, you can practically sponsor politicians like they do with Formula One teams. If you've got the cash, you're in pole position to snag those lucrative government contracts and conveniently dodge taxes. It's cheaper to grease a few palms because, let's face it, lobbying is just the legalized version of bribery. Remember when we used to point fingers at corruption in Africa and the Middle East? Nowadays, it's a pandemic, and in the US, it's even got a fancy name: lobbying. Take, for instance, the case of the 2008 financial crisis. Banks like Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers played a high-stakes game of monopoly with the economy, and when it all went belly up, guess who bailed them out? Yep, the taxpayers, the little guys. Meanwhile, executives walked away with golden parachutes, laughing all the way to their offshore banks. Act 2. The European Comedy of Errors. Across the pond in Europe, the technocrats in Brussels have turned corruption into an art form. With their favorite positions, large salaries, and unlimited expense accounts, they've managed to add an extra layer of bureaucracy that makes Kafka's The Trial look like a children's book. The EU has become the worst thing that ever happened to European taxpayers. The administrative red tape has skyrocketed costs, driving EU countries to the brink of bankruptcy. Remember the Greek debt crisis? It wasn't just about Greeks living beyond their means. It was also about a European system that encouraged reckless borrowing and spending. While austerity measures crippled the average citizen, the technocrats and bankers continued their lavish lifestyles, untouched and unbothered. Act 3. Historical highlights and actual examples. Let's not forget some historical highlights. In the good old days of the Gilded Age, tycoons like John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie could essentially buy the government. They didn't just play Monopoly, they owned the board. Fast forward to today, and not much has changed. Look at the influence of the Koch brothers in American politics, or how Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame has managed to keep his company's tax bill lighter than a feather. In Europe, the tale is equally rich with irony. The infamous Volkswagen emissions scandal showed how even the revered German efficiency could be tainted by greed. Volkswagen's top brass managed to cheat emissions tests for years, saving billions while polluting the environment. When the scandal broke, it wasn't the executives who suffered. It was the workers and the environment. Finale, the taxpayers lament. And who are the biggest losers in this global comedy of errors? The taxpayers, of course, the little guys who always end up getting the short end of the stick. Whether it's the absurdity of the US lobbying system or the labyrinthine bureaucracy of the EU, it's the average citizen who pays the price. As the rich get richer, the poor are left to wonder if there's any justice left in the world. In conclusion, this grand satire of wealth and power serves as a stark reminder of the absurdity that governs our world. The rich will always find a way to buy influence, dodge taxes, and secure their positions at the top. Meanwhile, the rest of us can only sit back, laugh, and enjoy the show, because sometimes all you can do is laugh to keep from crying.